G'day again everyone, welcome back to the latest edition of our newsletter, week 8 already in term 3, and as usual the term is just flying past us, so teachers and students are really busy at the moment beginning their final assessment pieces for this term. So good to see students working really hard in actually composing those final assessment pieces in the variety of subjects that they're studying here at school at the moment. And from what I've seen in classrooms, looking forward to some really great results for those kids who are working really hard to do the right thing, and lots of kids making some great improvements with that as well. So a really positive outlook, I think, for the next round of assessment data that we'll see from our students. Just thought to talk to you this morning a little bit about a couple of things. So before school routines. So I'm well aware that there's a number of parents that need to get their kids to school here a little bit before school time. Just want to remind everyone though that before school we've got a couple of really simple routines that we ask the students to abide by. So the first is, if you're here before 8:20, we need all the students who are here before that time to be sitting down in the undercover area, and it's just that, just sitting down, no throwing balls, no kicking balls, no running around. It's just quiet time until some supervision starts with our teacher aid staff at 8:20. At that point the students all move to the oval. So at those two times I really ask that everyone just helps us out with that. We don't need students running around other parts of the school and doing things that they shouldn't be in areas they shouldn't be, because the supervision is limited. The only supervision that is provided before school is on the oval from 8:20. So if you've got any particular concerns around that, or you might have heard some issues that your students might have had before that time, can I firstly ask you just to consider those drop-off times. If you can make them a little bit later than the supervision starts, that's fine. And the other thing is, of course, if your children need to be here early, then we do have our outside hours school care service that operates here, which you can obviously subscribe to and have your students in that program fully supervised during that time as well. So just again, thanks in advance for your cooperation and making sure that everyone's aware of that. We'll be speaking with students about that again over the next couple of weeks as well, just to make sure they're really clear on what needs to happen. The next little one for me is around communication. So just a reminder that there's a whole heap of ways that you can communicate between the school and your teachers, or with myself and deputy principals and other positions within the school. So, but I guess I wanted to speak about the fact that if you do have a problem, then we need to know about it. And the best way for us to know about it is obviously through a conversation. So be that through an email or a phone call or a pop-in chat. We're more than happy to deal with those things, but we need to know about them. Using Facebook as a means to express your dissatisfaction or unhappiness about certain things really doesn't help us, because we can't see it. And we do hear from time to time that there's been some activity on local social media pages that talking about things the school has or hasn't done. That's not a way that we'll respond. If you do have a genuine concern, you're more than welcome to come and see us, to put it in writing, whatever that may be, and we're just going to be only too happy to talk you through it. Can't always guarantee that you'll get the outcome that you want, but I can always guarantee that we'll listen and we'll do our best to make sure that we can alleviate those concerns for you. In the last couple of weeks there's been a little bit of media noise around NAPLAN. So we've just received our student reports and the release of data in the last few days, and we'll start to look at that and look at how well our students have gone and the things that we can do to improve their academic performance. So bearing in mind that NAPLAN is a point-in-time test that happens in May for year 3 and 5, 7 and 9 in high school, and doesn't always reflect how well the student is going overall at school academically or culturally or in terms of sporting pursuits either. So whilst there is a fair bit of attention that's paid to it in the media, there's probably less attention that we pay to it these days here at our school, because we've got so much other sources of academic data that we think are more reliable and more relevant and more up to date than a once a year test. So how have we got as a school? Certainly our year 3 data at the moment shows the highest ever performance of students in the upper 2 bands. There's some other areas in the strands of NAPLAN that we haven't done quite so well in, but I also know that nearly all of our Year 5 students have improved test to test. It was just one student who just didn't quite improve. So all in all, I think it's been a pretty positive result for us. We just need a little bit more time to sit and to digest and to understand that data before we talk a little bit more widely about what the next steps be for us. As I said before, just a couple of weeks of school to go, and I speak generally at the end of the term with our students on assembly around keeping our standards high. So although we are heading towards the holiday and we're getting very excited about the fact we'll have some time away from school, it's important that our students understand that the standards are the same in week 1 and in week 10 of our term. We expect them to come to school, we expect them to look like a boat as a state school student, and we expect them to be learning and doing their very best each and every day. So although there's some relaxation in the last few days of the school term around what happens, the standards remain the same, the standards for behaviour remain the same, and the consequences for any misbehaviour, poor behaviour, remain the same. So just wanted to remind everyone that despite that, the fact that the holidays are coming, that it's business as usual at our school, and I know for the vast majority of our students that that's never ever a problem. Just occasionally we have a few who get a bit tired and a bit over the school term, and that can be a bit of a challenge for. So just if you can please speak with your children about maintaining those standards towards the end of the term. I know we'll have a really fantastic last couple of weeks of the school term. And just lastly, we're obviously approaching the end of this year already, which means that we're starting to think about next year and what our structures might look like. Before any of that can happen, we need to be able to determine enrolments. So if you're a family or you know a family that has a prep child for next year, it's really important that you let us know and get some paperwork in so we can actually start that planning process. So our structures entirely involve around the number of students that we have enrolled. So in order for us to be able to be really clear on what our teachers look like, who's on which class and how many classes in each year level, it's really important you get that paperwork in, and that we can lock those numbers in and be able to do that planning for us. So please get that message out. There'll be some messages coming around through a number of other social media platforms throughout the town as well. But really critical that we know that you're coming to us and we're able to plan accordingly for everyone else in those all the other year levels as well. But prep really does form the foundation of that. We need to know that, so we're able to know all the structures, and then in turn be able to give you some information about who's going to be on which class and which teachers and which year level, etc. So if you help out with that and let any friends and family know that we're after those things right now, that's fine. If you're out of catchment, by all means you're welcome to put an application in, and we'll consider those based on how much capacity we have in the prep year to begin with, and at this stage we do have a bit of capacity. So if you are interested in an out of catchment enrollment for prep for next year, by all means put it in, and we'll have a look at it and we'll let you know as soon as possible. That's all for me for this fortnight. Thanks again for taking the time to watch, to listen and to read, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you.